The advancements of artificial intelligence is reshaping industries across America.
And joining us this evening to explain more is James Cooper, author and a professor at California Western School of Law here in San Diego. Welcome back to Fox 5. We appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about your book, A Short and Happy Guide to Artificial Intelligence for Lawyers.
Absolutely, and this is the compendium, the Short and Happy Guide to AI Governance and Regulation. It's 300 pages, so it's not exactly short, and it's not very happy either, given how AI is...
It's an easy read, though, you know, about law and AI, right?
Yeah, and you can wait for the Broadway show and the musical.
Yes.
So it's adapted.
But the book generally is providing ways that law firms, the whole legal sector, but also corporations can regulate. Because until we get some sense of where we're going with this at the federal level or internationally, we have to rely on ourselves. So a lot of self-regulation now. So,
you know, it certainly reminds us of the beginning of the internet as we know it, right? Where it was kind of, you know, the Wild West for a while until some laws started to kick in and we're like, okay, this is how we're going to handle this. What's the I don't know, the catalyst, I guess, is really going to push us toward true regulation, and who's going to be in charge of it?
That's a great question, Andrew. But at the end of the day, our elected leaders are not yet fully skilled up. Never mind the rest of us with the challenge. So there's a danger to that, and increasingly we have a need to legislate and not rely on judges who are also, as wonderful as many of them are, not schooled and not skilled on AI or any forms of automation. You know, we always talk about my co-author Kashyap Kampela from BITS Business School in India and we always say these books are what happens when the world's slowest profession, law, meets the world's fastest evolving technology.
Yes.
Is there an actual realistic way to regulate AI globally? And obviously, you know, is this just a free-for-all?
It's a free-for-all. It's part of a, you know, we were talking before about it's like an arms race. And so it's not just a race for AI tools and automation technologies that we're seeing, but we're also seeing a race for regulation, or in many cases, kind of dumbing down or a lack of regulation as well. So there's an arms race in terms of what we're not doing.
You know, we don't know what the reality is going to be in a few years. You're looking at the crystal ball, but a lot of people fear that AI could take us all over. I mean, there's a non-zero chance that could happen. Yet I think it was a big, beautiful bill last year, there was a stipulation that AI could not be regulated for 10 years.
For 10 years, there would be a moratorium on municipal and state laws.
Why in the world would we ever do that, and what is the fallout from such a thing?
I think rightfully the administration is concerned about regulating to the point of chilling innovation, and that's where Vice President Vance was saying in Europe a year ago, hey, EU, there's a lot of regulation here. You want to be relevant, maybe a little less regulation would be in order. And I think he had a point. And so what we're seeing now is the balancing act. Now, total open Wild West, as you called it, Andrew, that's one model. Another model is what's happening in the People's Republic of China, where you have to have a license to release and to deploy. And then you've got the Euro nanny state somewhere in between. There's, you know, the best regulation will be somewhere in between. And it can't be a free-for-all because kids are using this technology, because jobs are at risk, and because national security is at risk as well.
Well, where are the job opportunities and where are the losses that we're going to see? I mean, we're seeing some layoffs right now.
Yeah, you know, 3 years ago, March 2023, Goldman Sachs sent out a report that 300 million knowledge-based jobs in front of a computer would be at risk. That's like, there's 1.2 billion people doing work in front of a computer around the world. They've walked that back, and so now we're looking at between 2.5% to 6 to 7%, and it's a sliding scale as to the timeline. But I think you're seeing, whether it's job losses at Pinterest or Salesforce or Amazon or any number of financial institutions, at the end of the day, AI is coming for a lot of our jobs. It's colorblind. It's coming for blue collar and white collar jobs. But don't be alarmed, because if you learn it and you utilize it and you understand it as a complement, it doesn't have to be a substitute.
So we just had a story yesterday that Amazon is for the second time in like 3 months laying off, I think 16,000 in this latest round, 14,000 in the previous round, because they're going to be giving those jobs to AI. It seems like the prevalence is starting to pick up. The things that we're kind of predicting, more people are using it. You hear, you know, ChatGPT mentioned a lot more in conversation. Some people still not calling it the right name yet, you know, kind of like still in that precipice of getting there. But do we feel like we're somewhere that we weren't maybe 2 years ago?
Yes, but there's also an AI redundancy washing going on, where companies may be laying folks off using AI as the justification, but it's really not that. Harvard Business Review just recently did an article about so-called AI redundancy washing. I think that's a big concern. But to answer your earlier question, where the jobs are, I think understanding the technology, not being afraid of it, is a great first step.
I mean, they invested hundreds of billions of dollars in industries with AI. And so I guess in terms of the global race, how are we faring?
Maria, we're still the #1, and there are others. You saw what DeepSeek did to NVIDIA's market cap just in one day alone last January when they released their model. But you know, the truth eventually comes out. They didn't do the model with $5 or $6 million. There was lots of other built-in stuff that hadn't been accounted for. So I think we trust, we verify, and we ensure that all of us are reskilling constantly. Now, not everybody can be reskilled, but it's going to be a challenge. It's not just a national security challenge, but it's a job security challenge as well.
Overall, can you tell us kind of where we are? Because I feel like we're at a point where it's like Betamax and VHS, right? It's Google and, I don't know, Ask Jeeves or whatever. And then you see the one that kind of jumps up. Right now, it feels like there's so many places that have AI. I don't know if they're pulling from similar sources or how that works, but what's the overall kind of landscape right now?
It's definitely Wild West, and there's a lot of lobbying going on in Washington and in Brussels and all around the world for companies to be able to do the kinds of things that they need to do to deploy their models with not having to worry about risk mitigation, which is the European mantra about regulation. But at the end of the day, a lot of the global problems that we're facing, whether it's climate change or weapons proliferation, AI can help solve some of those problems. And many of the teams that are developing these tools are international, are globalized teams unto themselves. So, you know, by working together, I know that sounds very pie in the sky, but, you know, what we're talking about is the future, so it's super important. And the other piece is, you know, when we used to talk about AI when we were kids, it was Amnesty International. So I would just want to make a big pitch for the human in the loop.
Okay, or Allen Iverson, and you know, he was pretty great too.
It's all about practice. All about practice.
Yeah, so you know, times they are changing, and we're watching it right before our eyes. James, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks so much for
breaking it down. There's a little irony there too in solving global warming while using all the power that it takes to make it happen. All right, we appreciate you being here. We'll be right back here on the Fox 5 News at 7:30.